everyone, Karchermakes here. Welcome back to a very yarny podcast. It's been a minute since the last time I recorded. The last video was all about Maryland sheep and wool and yarn centric. And if you haven't watched it, I'll leave a link below and you can take a look and see all the yarny goodness and sheepy goodness that we got to experience there. So it's been a minute since then, and just the past month has been really busy. We went on a vacation to Seattle and Alaska, hence the sweatshirt here today. And I had to travel for work for a week, which was less fun than the vacation. And just work is really busy right now. It's intern season, it's college hire season, so it's consuming a lot of my extra time, even on my own time. So I finally had time to sit down and talk to you guys about all the great things I've been making. That's the good news. Since it's been a while since the last video, I have quite a bit to show you in terms of, I have a couple finished objects, I have a half finished object, and then I also started some new things which I have no business starting, and we can talk about all the yarny things. So let's get into it. So first up, finished object. Now, you guys know, if you follow Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, or just if you're in the knitting community at all, she does Summer Sock Camp, which is a sock knit along, very easy, very low stress, no rules, just make socks, which is everything I need in my life right now. The last thing I need is a rule or a guideline or a deadline. So I get enough of that at work. So I really tried to focus in on getting some socks done in the past month, both for that and then just to, get them done. So first up are the Speckled Space socks. This is a free pattern by Amanda Stevens, and the yarn that I'm using is called Birdwatching by Rising Tide Fiber Company. And it's this beautiful, subtle speckles, orange and black, of course, go O's. And I thought that this pattern and this yarn is like the perfect marriage. They just go so well together. So the Birdwatching yarn came with two minis, a black and an orange. So I just did a little pop at the top. I thought about adding a heel, but I kind of liked how it turned out like this. So both socks are done. And what I did with this one, just to kind of show you guys the texture of these chevron patterns, is I put the sock on upside down. So this is the toe, this is the leg, and then this is the toe of the sock, just so you can kind of see the full front texture of that. Love these. I cannot wait to wear these. They turned out so pretty. I used US 1.5, which is I think a 2.25 millimeter. I'm trying to get better at that. Needle, and 64 stitches is usually my go-to with that. So yeah, I just love how these turned out. The O's are doing quite well, although we played the Astros last night and lost, so boo. But hey, can't win them all. So there is that. Sock number 1 for Summer Sock Camp is in the books. So next up, and this one is just a half finished object. I just have one done. The other is well on its way in progress. Also size US 1.5 needles. And this is just a double seed stitch texture, which is 2 rows of 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls, and then 2 rows of 2 purls, 2 knits. So it basically makes like a broken rib type texture, which I think is pretty, and I think it went very well with this colorway. So this yarn is I'm Setting Booty Traps by Cesium Yarns, and thank you for everyone who explained that reference to me. I mentioned in a prior video, I was like, it's funny, I just don't understand it, and it's a Goonies reference. I have to tell you all, I'm a terrible Gen Xer. I've never seen Goonies. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never watched it start to finish. And I've not watched a lot of those kind of cult classic movies in my lifetime. I'm not exactly a movie person. I wouldn't call myself a movie person, so I've never seen it, but these socks are inspiring me to watch it, and the next time that it's on, I'll maybe take a look. So just so I can see the reference in play. But these turned out quite nicely. I did a little pop of color at the top. This is leftover yarn. A shadow wrap heel, which is my current favorite, to be continued. Whatever heel I'm putting in, whatever sock is my favorite at the time. So, but it fits really nicely. So there is that. Another sock for summer sock camp. And then speaking of socks, so Nitty Natty, everybody knows who Nitty Natty is. I don't need to explain it. She will be doing Sock Week coming up soon. I feel like it's starting in July-ish. So I'll put it here if I can find it. But so she's starting Summer Sock Week again. Just make a sock. That's the rule. And then you submit like a Google form for it. And then maybe you can win some prizes, which is fun. Again, very low pressure, low key, not crazy deadlines or anything. And then the other one though, that I cannot wait for, I've been waiting for this for a year, is Stephen West's Surprise Sock Along. And that starts in July as well. And what I'm gonna do is make a video where we go stash diving. So this right here that you guys see, this is just like a little tiny piece of my stash. I have quite a bit of sock yarn, and we're gonna find some yarn to use for that. So what he's having us do is have a full skein of sock yarn and then 3 skeins of minis for color opportunities, which sounds really interesting to me. He also mentioned it's going to be a unique construction, so my interest is piqued. I'm very much looking forward to this, and I cannot wait. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Give this video a subscribe so that you can see the video when it comes out. I may also be doing added videos along the course of that project as well, time permitting. So the other finished object that I have is this cute little gnome. He's all done. He's all finished. He's submitted, and the make along has closed. So this was the Gnome News is Good News Mystery Gnome Along by Imagine Landscapes. They also did this over Christmas, and I've showed those before, but now they have a new friend, Mr. Nimble. And how cute is he? So they had us use self-striping yarn, and I chose to use some leftovers that I had from Desert Vista Dye Works. The colorway is Somebody's Hanging the Lights. It was a Christmas colorway, and I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it is a sparkle base. So I just love how he turned out. It did not call for this tassel. I saw somebody else do this, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. I want a tassel on mine too. So there he is, another finished object. That is so cute. So up next, I am crocheting a tote bag for my boyfriend's daughter's birthday. She specifically requested a tote bag, and I am happy to oblige. So this is the Daisy Fields Market tote by the Lavender Chair, and this pattern is free on her blog. And it is this sort of cluster situation going on to make this texture. They are quite labor intensive. Each piece of the cluster requires like 3 yarn overs at a time. So it's a little bit of work, but I really like how it's turning out. Now her birthday is in 6 days, and I don't know if this is going to be finished in time, but you know, it can be late. It's okay. There's no deadline here. And I'm using a size D3 hook. This hook is from Polymer Clay Shed. It has these cute little bees and flowers on it. And the yarn, or really thread in this case, is 100% cotton from Knit Picks. It's Curio number 3. And the colorway is Jalapeno, which is this really pretty green. She wanted green, so I sent her some options, and this is the one she picked. So that is going to be very nice, and I think it'll be a nice birthday present for her. Okay, so one of the new projects that I started that I have not shown on the podcast yet is the Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry, and I'm just trying to kind of get it together. It's a little unwieldy since it's kind of so big. So here's where we're at, and of course I'm in the middle of a row, but you can see here it's a split hem. I did not do the tubular cast on, y'all. I tried to do this cast on. I tried 5, 6, 7 times, and if you're familiar with the cast on, it's like loops on the needle that aren't really secure, and I kept dropping the loops, and I just finally said, you know what, I really want to get this started. I want to get knitting on this, so I ended up going with a twisted cast on instead. I think it's just as nice. It really is. It has this nice kind of bump at the edge, so I think it's fine. I really do. Now, everybody's made this sweater. I am a late adopter. I'm not an early adopter to trends, and this sweater has thousands of them made already in Ravelry, and now I'm making one. But it's in the round, and it's just stockinette, but when you wear it, you flip it inside out, and I'm doing that. Flipping it inside out, and then it's basically reverse stockinette, and then you have this kind of feature down the front and back where it's slip stitches. And bonus points if you can see right there where I messed one up, and I'm not dropping down to fix it because I don't care. It's fine. If you're that close to me to notice that I missed a slip stitch, you're too close to me. So there's that. And then it has these little, I have these little needle stoppers. I don't recall where I got these. I may have gotten these at the Creative Knitter when I went to Canada, but I don't remember. But they are super cute little llamas. So this is in progress. I'm just about ready to split for the sleeves, and I don't know when it's going to be done. I worked on it quite a bit when I was on vacation, and, you know, it'll get done at some point, just like I needed another whip. So that's it for finished objects and works in progress. And I do have some yarn to show. Like I mentioned, we were in Alaska and Seattle about a month ago. And I didn't go to any yarn stores in Alaska this time just because I went to all of them last time, and I still have quite a bit of it left. I don't think I've used hardly any of it. So when we went last time though, I did not go to any yarn stores in Seattle. So I wanted to take a time to check out a Seattle store. So I went to, and I don't recall the name, I'll put it here on the screen. And they had some locally dyed yarn, which you know is my jam. And I picked this up from Jada Woo Designs. And the colorway is called Forest Moss. Hand dyed in Tacoma, Washington, which, if you're not familiar with the geography, is quite close to Seattle. And this really spoke to me just because of the colors. We went to a place, and it's actually in the Yukon, called Emerald Lake, and it basically looks like this yarn. Like, this yarn could have been called Emerald Lake. Just the colors just really kind of lend itself to kind of all the sights that we saw while we were in Alaska and in the Yukon territory. So there is that. Maybe this becomes the yarn I use for the Stephen West surprise sock along, but I don't know yet, and we're gonna find out when I make that stash video. And then lastly, I had shown in the Maryland Sheep and Wool and Yarn Centric video that I picked up some yarn, some mini skeins from Dye Mad Yarns, and the End Times cardigan, by the way, and I'm looking at it, it's sitting on the other side of the room. Still in progress. I'm about halfway through. I'm not going to show it on here because I'm on the sleeve section, and it doesn't look like a lot of progress, but it's still going. I'm still working on it. So I had got some lighter color mini skeins from Dye Mad Yarns from Yarn Centric, and conveniently enough, they were my, I did not plan this, but they happened to be, the colorway names happened to be my horoscope and my birthstone. So I have been making these log cabin squares, and this one is not blocked, and it happens to be Heathered Handmakes from my Row 1 Mini subscription. I made this out of those yarns. So I decided I wanted to make a square for Dye Mad Yarns, but I had only picked up 4 colors, so I said let me go on the website and see what they have in terms of minis available. And of course they had a million, and of course I got some. And so what I did was, because mine were, the previous ones were my horoscope Ember Stone, I was like, well, let me get the horoscope Ember Stones of my boyfriend and his daughter. So they are Pisces and Cancer. So I picked those up. These are kind of similar in color, but the speckles are very different. So this one has like a lot of reds and greens and yellows, where this one is mostly blues and turquoises. So I got those two. And then I also got their birthstones, Pearl and Amethyst, because they are June and February. I wish mine was Amethyst. Mine's an opal, which is nice, but I like Amethyst more. So those are really pretty. And then while I was at it, I went ahead and got my parents' horoscopes. May they rest in peace. Capricorn and Sagittarius. I think the Sagittarius color is really pretty. I would like a sweater out of this, actually, which I want to say I want it to happen, but I have enough, really. I do have enough. I need to finish some things before that happens, but super pretty. So these are going to go into the End Times cardigan and then also become a square for Dye Mad Yarns. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you found this helpful, entertaining. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't mind subscribing, that does greatly help the algorithms to understand that, hey, people like this content and you should show it to more people. So like I mentioned, coming up in new content will be the Stephen West Surprise Sock Along Stash / Scrap Dive. That's happening. And then I do want to work on in the future a video dedicated to converting a toe-up sock to top down. And then maybe at some point I'll learn how to do a toe-up sock. That's just not on the priority list right now. But thanks for watching. Come back again. And until then, happy making.